With me now, Miles Himmel, reporter for KFMB AM 760. Am I hearing this right? She's 3 times the legal limit, and her defense attorney says, but she was in the middle of a nap when the actual accident happened. So all good here, no murder. Is that really what he's saying to this jury?
Yeah, Ashley, we've talked before about some trials that are very, oh gosh, could he have done it? Could she have done it? Very controversial. You read the facts here and you go, okay, what are we doing here? Because this is so cut and dry. But yeah, we've heard some wild defenses before, but this is where they're going to go with that. That fatigue is it, and like you talked about, just with that wild thing that came out yesterday, that she drove over a mile with a human next to her in the car through her windshield is unbelievable.
I hate to say it, Miles, part of a human was next to her because the other part was under that blurry spot on the back of her car, the severed leg, which she also drove a mile with. So there's a lot to unpack here because the jurors are being subjected to this video. I mean, this was in opening statements. Like, talk about starting off a trial with a bang, and really letting this jury know what they're up against as they try to sit through all this evidence. And it is horrifying. I think we might even have that picture of the windshield. The hole through the windshield is so massive. Are they talking about the accident reconstruction and all those other things that you typically see in one of these, or is it all about whether she was asleep and whether or not this loopy little loophole in California law will let her get off on a DUI or a murder?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what they're focused on the fatigue. And we saw in the pretrial before this, a lot of friends came forward that were at that party, like you talked about, Ashley, that said, yeah, I told her numerous times. I told Stacey 4 or 5 times, listen, you're too drunk. You can't drive. And then she went, got more drinks, then went and drove and realized this happened at 6:30 in the morning. I mean, like you played that soundbite from that guy. People are going to work. And then she's out there going up on a sidewalk, running into people. So that's what they're really focused on. So
this is like 6:30 in the morning after a whole night of partying, and she's still 3 times the legal limit when she blows? Like, she's that hammered?
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so unfathomable. And to say, listen, I'm sure she was tired. Who wouldn't be tired after that?
Well, that's my thing. That's my thing here, Miles, is that everybody who's been in a DUI and done something awful was probably closing their eyes at one point during that accident. And how do you sort of use that? How do you say, she was so drunk she was sleeping? I just don't understand. Drinking and drugs is never any excuse for anything, let alone sleeping while you crash into somebody. But does he have an actual point here? Or are people rolling their eyes in this courtroom?
Well, no, I mean, this is a big local story. I mean, we've got a few of them here, and this is a big local story because certainly you've got that horrific video as well. I mean, we've seen technicalities. We've seen people get off on ridiculous things before. I mean, it's never 100% guarantee. Now we're just going to kind of it'll be interesting to hear from witnesses who were with her that night, really get into the details of exactly what she was doing.
Well,
because,
how about the witnesses who were subjected to the aftermath, the bloody aftermath of what her actions actually caused? And let's not forget that Jack Ray Tenhulzen, 69 years old, is a victim here. He was a real person. He was really walking on the sidewalk that day. He had real blood and soul and heart before he ended up through that windshield with his leg severed on the back of her car. The person who saw this and ended up rolling that videotape was Edgar Esperanza. And Edgar and his brother came upon the parked car. Effectively, as I understand the evidence, she crashes into this man. She drives a mile with him lodged upside down in her passenger seat, half in and half out of the windshield. The leg is severed on the back of the car. She stops that car about a block away from her home, gets out, and then wanders the rest of the way home. And when she got out, that's when the Esperanza brothers saw her. Edgar's brother was face-to-face with her, talking to her, and Edgar actually tells what happened. Have a listen to this.